Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive Moon Knight. Today, I'll be reviewing this figure in the following categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once those scores are totaled, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So I normally do not review Marvel Legends, but I'm actually reviewing this figure right here because I want to do a comparison video sooner or later. So for accessory, he comes with a fair amount. We received 2 head sculpts in total, the first of which actually comes on the figure, and I really love how the eyes are done here. It's probably not showing on camera because of the lighting, but the eyes are painted a metallic silver, which really looks well with the black outline, especially on the white face itself. I also like the scope work throughout. We'll talk about that more so in the design aspect. And moving on to the second face sculpt, which I believe is essentially the same, but now as I'm looking at it, it may be different. I can't tell for sure if that's simply because it's painted black, but again, we'll discuss that more so in the design aspect. But the eyes have the same metallic color, and I think that this one looks great as well. So Moon Knight comes with 4 hands in total. You receive 2 fisted hands that come on the figure, and you receive 2 gripping hands, the bigger of which looks too big to hold the pieces properly. So in addition to the hands, Moon Knight comes with 5 throwing effect pieces, 2 large ones. There's absolutely no paint on any of these items, and he comes with 3 smaller items as well. Also, Moon Knight comes with his staff, which is done in a very flexible plastic, which I don't like, as mine has warped straight out of the package. I wish Hasbro would put together more sturdy items. However, I understand that their products are labeled for kids, so they probably can't do so. So for accessories, I'll be giving Moon Knight a 9 out of 10. And just to mention, it took me at least 7 takes to shoot this portion, as my fingers kept hitting the stop button, and I just had to record over and over. So the head is on a ball peg, and you have the neck attached directly to the torso, so no movement in the neck. So the head with the hood attached is able to look up about that much, which is a bit further than I initially thought. It's able to look down that much. You do get rotation side to side, as well as some pivot, and it does shift back and forth. So with the arm, you're able to flex it up that much. It's able to do a full rotation if you choose to. You do get rotation itself in the arm as well as the bicep. The elbows are double jointed, bending in that much. You do get rotation at the wrist, and it hinges, I guess, up and down, but not side to side. Also, the shoulders have butterfly joints, bending in about that much, bending out about that much, which isn't really a lot of movement. So now with the torso, it's able to crunch back that much forward. You do get rotation at the waist, however, no pivot nor any rotation with the upper torso. So with the legs themselves, they're able to split out only that far, which I'm pretty surprised. It kicks up all the way. It goes back that much. You do get rotation as well as upper bicep cut. The knees are double jointed, bending in about that much. You also have rotation at the boot. The foot is able to lift up that much, down that much, and you do get rotation in and out. So for articulation, I will be deducting points for the wrist not being able to go side to side, as well as not having a rotating upper portion of the torso. I've come to appreciate that a lot. So for overall articulation, I'll be giving Moon Knight an 8 out of 10. So for design, the paint work is pretty clean. I do want to zoom in on the face for a moment just to show you the shadowing around the eye. It is done in a light gray, which I really like, as well as the scope work of the overall hood, in my opinion, is fantastic, and there's also shading around that as well. Now with the moon symbol, it's pretty clean without the exception of that little spot right there. Now certain areas of Moon Knight are done in a pearlescent color, such as the wrist area with the gauntlets, the belt, and the boots. And I really don't like it, as it appears that there is just not enough paint on it. So some areas may be hard to see on camera. I think you can see a little bit on the boot, especially at the split hair. Some areas are just missed. So one of the areas with Moon Knight that I would like to see additional things would be shading. There's really no shading throughout the body. And if you look at the Moon Knight comics, there's always heavy shading with this particular character. So I wish we would have seen more of that. Also for design, I think that the body is way too small. I feel like we could have went with a larger body. I think the Spider-Man UK body mold would have been great. I don't think this is that. But the figure still comes out looking pretty good in my opinion. So for overall design, I'm going to give Moon Knight an 8 out of 10. So is Moon Knight essential to your collection? I've always looked at Moon Knight as a B-tier character at best. That is not to say that he does not command importance on your shelf. It is to say that he's not a Wolverine, a Spider-Man, or a Cyclops. So as far as being essential to your collection, I'm going to give Moon Knight a 7 out of 10. So for functionality, the head works a lot better than I thought that it would. Again, being able to look up that much, being that the hood as well as the cape are separate pieces, you do get it to move pretty well without one restricting the other. And you're actually able to get it to look down even though there are separate pieces. So one of the things that I don't like would be the cape. The cape actually sits down a lot longer than his feet. So I was assuming that that would prevent Moon Knight from standing properly. However, it does not. So for a moment, let's take off the hands. The hands are attached to the peg, which I prefer in all my action figures. So now moving to some of his weaponry. This isn't a good fit. Assuming that this actually goes in this hand, it just doesn't hold well. I'm not going to even bother putting in the smaller pieces if this doesn't work. So just trying to tab it through the fingers, you can get it to work, but it doesn't hold snug. So I'm going to assume that this hand is for his staff, which ports through very easily, and it is extremely loose, but you can get it to work. So porting in his other hand, let's try some of the other accessories, as this hand seems to be a lot tighter. So that works much better. And with the smaller pieces, this time you can't fit it in between the fingers. That doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. And moving on to the torso, I personally prefer the floating ab over the lower portion. With this hair, you do, well, maybe it's the cape. Now, with this hair, you do not get a lot of back. You do get some good movement forward, but you don't receive any rotation up top. So for functionality, there are some issues with the hands being able to hold and grip the weapons properly. As I mentioned, I do not prefer this torso setup. And the cape is just a bit too long. However, it doesn't restrict the character from standing. So for overall functionality, I'm going to give Moon Knight a 7 out of 10. So for pricing, Moon Knight comes in at $20. That is before taxing. That is before shipping. I was able to find mine in Walgreens, so I was able to skip the shipping. With taxes, he came to close to $22. So is he worth the price of admission? So for a $20 action figure, he comes with a good amount of accessories. Also, it comes packed with enough of articulation, even though there could be some areas of improvement. The design on this figure is well enough, in my opinion, capturing a close enough look to Moon Knight. I do feel that the body itself could be on a larger body. The cape itself is too long, but never really becomes cumbersome, though a cloth cape would be much better. So for overall pricing, I'm going to give Moon Knight a 10 out of 10, which should give Moon Knight an overall Cliff score of 49 out of 60. So now, is Moon Knight a pass or a purchase? Let's get right to it. For 20 bucks, he is an absolute purchase. So here's Moon Knight standing by itself. Here's Moon Knight standing with my incomplete strong guy. Here's Moon Knight standing next to Marvel Legends Havoc. Here's Moon Knight next to Quicksilver, and I'm pretty sure that this is the same body. And here's Moon Knight next to McFarlane's Peely from Fortnite. He doesn't want to stand, so I'm holding him. So this will bring this video to a conclusion. Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. I hope to see you during the next review.